forever.
What's up? We're here. I know we decided that it would be nice to concentrate this episode on theft and how it affects our daily lives. It affects our families, our friends, and sometimes even ourselves when if we commit it, and the different ways that theft is involved in our life.
Right on. Good job.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're new here and you're just tuning in, please like and subscribe because it helps us out. We want to keep doing this, but we got to get our viewership up. We got to get, it'd be nice to get paid for it. It'd be nice to just make it grow as much as we can so we can spend more time and our wives don't look at us like pathetic losers when we decide we're going to go make our podcast. If you guys could help us make this legit, that'd be great. I would love to be able to rub my wife's nose in it and just be like, well, you know what? The podcast is what's putting food on the table, so I'm going in the guest room.
To podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Not to sleep because I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's episode is about theft. So
what are some ways you've
I always loved stories of growing up because we grew up with some mischievous, seedy types, just the dirty kids, the dirty kids with parents that didn't care about them. And there's always some funny stories about, someone getting their backpack gone through or something like that. Do you have any of those?
Man, I've got, as far as like back in the day when we were kids, when we were at school, someone broke into my car and stole my iPod at school.
Someone stole your iPod at school? So it's probably someone that we went to school with that did it.
Yeah, and we went to a very small school. So
I remember there was this one kid that he even had like a growth deformity of some form, which there's always this like fine line between they never nail it in movies. There's either bullies or there's victims. But in reality, I found so much of the time there's this overlap between the nerdy, pathetic kids that you're supposed to feel bad for and then them also being like serious assholes. They never portray that in movies, I don't feel like.
No, you're right. It's pretty cut and dry.
It's either like you're the sad kid that gets picked on or whatever and you got the heart of gold, or you're the bully. But in real life, this kid was, kind of pathetic, kind of dweeby, got picked on, but was also a huge dick. And he had stolen from a friend of mine, and the story was really funny because he knew my friend knew this kid had stolen $20 out of his backpack. They were on like a basketball trip, and he confronted him because he was so sure. He confronted him in the locker room, and he grabbed the little skinny dude, and he's like, "I know you have my $20, and if it's not back in my backpack by the time I come back in this locker room, I'm going to beat the fucking shit out of you." And the kid was like, "I didn't do anything." He had a really high pitched voice. You might know who I'm talking about. "I didn't do anything. It wasn't me." And then he's like, "Yeah, I know it was you." So, and then he left, and then they were out there in the gym, and then this kid came up to him and said, "Hey, did you check the side of your backpack? Did you check the side pocket?" And he went in there, and it was back in there. So anyways, theft is funny sometimes, but it's a really bad thing though, right?
In almost every case, you could argue
that.
Yeah,
sometimes it's okay, right?
Yeah, like if you're thinking about end of the world type scenarios, or stealing, or Robin Hood,
or stealing to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's sort of justifiable. I just remember that something that really stuck with me, because I always thought of theft as just being kind of a pathetic thing sometimes, because I was just like, oh, they were like desperate or whatever. But somebody's dad, when I was just started working for him when we were like 17, said, "There's nothing I hate more in the world than fucking thieves. Thieves are the scum of the earth. Thieves are the worst sort of person you could possibly be." And I was like, I always thought that seemed pretty extreme to me. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, you can make a case for it because it's just it's a pathetic act in today's world. Um, like,
He said it's because you take something that somebody else worked hard for, and then you just take it. You know.
yeah, I mean, you're definitely scum. I don't know if you're the scum of the earth. I can think of some different people that are scum of the earth, but it is. I mean, it's not only bad. It's like a huge inconvenience for the people you're stealing from too. Like, I can think of actually one of the reasons I left Alaska was well, first I had a gun in my car, and that's on me. I forgot to take it out of the center console. And I woke up the next morning, a car was broken into, and they, of course, stole my gun. And I reported it, and it took, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years, and I got it back.
Wow, I can't believe they recovered it.
Yeah, but they called me like it was like a year and a half or two after it was stolen. The police called me and told me that they found it, and then COVID happened, and I didn't get it back for another like 3 or 4 years. So, like that sort of inconvenience, that's for sure. But after that, that was during the winter, and then come summer, both my vehicles in different parts of Anchorage were broken into on the same day.
In Anchorage.
Yep. So the first one, I was at work on a Saturday, and I could actually, there's a window I could see down in the parking lot, and I saw these people get in my car. And at that point, I didn't leave anything in there, but it pissed me off so much that, I ran down there and told them to when they were scouting cars, I told them to leave. And then a little bit later, I come back, and at that point, my car was fine. But when I came back down later, like 30 minutes later, they had come back and broken into my car. So I went and found them.
Oh,
and started
wow.
and confronted them. But again, there's nothing that they could have stolen. I just pretty much berated them for being pieces of shit.
They broke into your car?
Yeah.
How did they break in? How did they break into your car? Like break glass?
Oh, okay. So let me actually preface this in that this car, it was my 4Runner. It was having electrical issues. So I'd lock it, and then sometimes I'd come back and it was unlocked. So they didn't break in. They just trespassed into it and took stuff. But then that same day, I was going to scout to get family photos that you took, actually.
Oh.
So went to Kincaid Park and parked and walked around an area, tried to find good photos. And at one point, I'd seen like these two random guys, and I was just like, what are they doing? It's so weird. And then I just do this loop, and I come back to the car, and they broke the glass of the side, the driver's side back door, and like got glass all over the car seat, and they stole a diaper bag.
What? Losers.
Yeah. And I was like, I know exactly who that fucking was too. And I was like, I'm getting out of this town. I freaking hate it, or the city.
And then you moved to a state with
no one's stolen from me yet.
Crime and you don't live in downtown, but
no.
Yeah. It's the problem with every big
like
city.
That was a huge inconvenience, right? Because now I have 2 kids with me, and one has to go in a car seat, and it's full of glass. So now I can't even leave. And so I had to call somebody to come. Like, I had to walk to the end of a road because there's no cell service, call someone to come help. They'd pick up the kids, and then I take the car. And then, got to pay for the deductible of the glass and everything. And really all they got was a diaper bag.
So the damage they caused the vehicle way exceeded what they got out of it. But they don't care.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they don't care.
Pay for any of it anyways. Yeah. The idea that you work for things and then other people just feel entitled to it and don't care that you spent your time and money on it, and it just kind of upends the whole like social contract that we have in our society. If you do it, then we're basically like, if we all did it, it would just be anarchy and pandemonium. Like, why even bother to work at all? Like, you're just, I guess the downstream consequences of theft. You know, in the moment, you might just be like, well, I just want this one thing. But it's like, as it kind of broadens out bigger and bigger, it's like, okay, so why even bother to work? Right? And like,
Yeah.
why do we have
Yeah.
stores and like,
Well,
you know, any of that stuff?
sometimes your job is the source of what you're stealing.
As in
So
tax? What are you talking about?
no.
Are you
So
get hired to be a thief? Is that what you're talking about?
no, I'm saying like, so I worked at Sports Authority long time before it was closed down, and I knew people were stealing from Sports Authority. The employees were stealing, like, oh, I got this pair of shoes, I got this knife. And then I actually caught some people, I didn't really say anything, but I caught these people hiding shoes, like in a bit, like under like this
inside
rack.
of something they bought or whatever.
No, so they were hiding them in a place that nobody would find them until they went down into clearance. So it would say we'd have like 3 in stock, we can't find them, it'd go down to basically nothing plus your discount. So they would wait for, that's definitely stealing. But does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like they'd hide it until it went down to clearance. But then you go in the warehouse and there's no cameras and people are they're like, oh, this is a cool knife that, for the hunting department, and now it's mine. And so you're like stealing from work instead of instead of like
You're talking about employees stealing from the work.
Employees. Yeah.
Got it.
But that's another good point you had said, is like you could put a different pair of Nike shoes in a different box that's cheaper.
Yeah, or just like I'm buying this giant Tupperware tote with this lid on top.
Yeah, and
inside
stuff
is
full.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff, just stealing from department stores and then being like, well, this store is a multi-billion-dollar industry that doesn't even pay its employees that well, so
That's right, yeah. And then when your boss is a dick or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try to justify it. Yeah.
There's someone that we went to school with that I always really liked, and you hate, and that is because they stole from your family. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah. I
snow machine.
I did like him a little bit. I mean, we were all kind of friends.
You didn't like him after he stole from you.
Of course not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point.
Right. Yeah, and what's crazy about that is like, we were close enough friends that my parents would, let him in the house and, give him food and he could stay over.
Yeah. This is a good one.
Yeah.
So, how did that feel?
It was actually really shocked me because, so somebody stole the sewing machine, and the next morning, like, because my dad was actually going to let somebody borrow it. So then we go outside and it's gone. And then I don't know how my dad did it, but he made phone calls and he found out, he was able to find out somebody who knew who did it. So somebody knew the person that did it, and so they said, okay, I contacted them and told them to leave it at this spot so you can get it. But they didn't say who it was. They were trying to protect the kids, but get us our snow machine back. So I went with my dad, and we go to that spot, and there's the snow machine. It's all fucked up because they were like riding it on pavement,
rallying
just
it,
didn't
give a shit.
Well,
just
they
stole it for fun.
They rode it to the spot that we were supposed to pick it up. And when you ride a snow machine, you leave tracks. So we followed the tracks back to a house just before Wasilla, and called. So we found the house. We called the cops, and the cops showed up, and then we all walked up, and then here comes that guy out that house. I didn't know he was there. I had no idea it was him at the time.
You didn't know it was him. How shocking was that? That he was a friend and someone we went to school with and were really close with this person.
There's actually 2 people that we knew that did it. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yep. I do.
Okay. So, but only the one that lived right down the road was the one that was there at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So saw him come out, and I'm like, what the fuck? And the cop looks at me and goes, you know any of these people? And I say, yep, I know him right there.
How mad were you?
And I was pretty mad, but I was more mad for my dad. Like it was definitely a betrayal, but it's not like it was you, like somebody I was really close with.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, dude, if it was you, oh my god, yeah, that would like because I was not that close with him at that time. I'd say because he's kind of a dick. He was a prick. He was a bully.
Do you think he justified it to himself when he did it, or do you think he even had to bother justifying it to
I bet
himself?
he didn't care.
Just
I
didn't
don't
care
think
at
he
all.
bothered to justify it to himself.
Just
but his
like,
mom
I'm
ended up
taking
paying
this.
my dad.
Because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's like attention,
And
maybe.
fuck you. Yeah. Oh.
He didn't have
okay.
a real like father figure growing up, so.
Yeah, this all tracks because he was really not a good dude. But so my aunt back around that time had a boyfriend who was a real seedy dude. Everybody like in our family kind of knew he was sketchy, but he kept on his best manners around obviously my mom and parents and stuff. He acted like he knew how to follow the social contract and that kind of stuff. But when it was me and him, okay, oh shit. And I was at this time, I was in this kind of a little stage of like being a little shoplifter myself, just for the thrill of it, kind of. And also I didn't have a ton of money, but it was like, let's see if I can sneak out of the store with a Red Bull or whatever. Or like,
yeah, didn't you get a turkey one time?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay.
But anyways, I snuck something out of the store, and this guy knew about it, and it was just me and him around each other at the time. And he told me what his philosophy on life. He was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, you steal stuff," and I was like, "Yeah, sometimes." He's like, "Hell yeah, hell yeah." And he said, "You know what I believe is I believe in the Haitian. I think he said the Haitian law. I believe that's what he said. I can't remember. It was some like weird thing." He said, "You know what the law is?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "If you can take it and get away with it, do it. That's the way." He said, "If you can and you want it, then do it." And that goes for everyone.
Piece of shit.
And in my mind at that time, I didn't have a ton of guidance and stuff. And like, obviously you had a real upstanding upbringing, but at my mind at that time, I tried to process that and I tried to find fault in the thinking, and I couldn't. I was like, that's very reasonable. I kind of understand. I mean, if you can take it and get away with it, then why not? That does make sense. Obviously, looking back, I mean, like, that's pretty dark stuff. That's really dark stuff, actually. Yeah. If you look all the way, But I guess speaking from personal experience, I can, as someone who was like shoplifting, not huge items. Although I do know I was with someone when they stole an iPod from Walmart and justified it to themselves at that time. From what we just said, which is like, well, they're like a multi-billion-dollar company. They won't even notice, that kind of thinking. But I will say, in my own experiences stealing, it was just for like shits and giggles. I would never have stolen from a person to person.
Yeah.
I would never inflict. I couldn't imagine thinking about someone coming out to get their thing and like being devastated that it wasn't there or whatever,
Oh yeah. It's a shitty feeling.
I thought mine was what do you call it? Victimless crime.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Which
it is not though.
It's not, but it's like again so minuscule. But I don't know if I ever told you I got banned from Safeway in Wasilla.
Because of shoplifting?
I didn't steal anything. So this is the crazy part of the story is that there was a bunch of us on our way back from like, it was a school trip, but it was like somebody had got organized it so that we can go to this like church outing thing. It was a weird experience, but there was two girls that were with us, and I went into Safeway to buy whatever I was going to eat for like lunch or dinner or whatever. And then I meet up with them, and then they go to the bathroom, and then we all, like, I paid for my stuff and we go to walk out. Well, we get stopped, and they're like, we know you took something, and we're going to call the cops and whatnot. I don't really recall exactly what they said, but I didn't know what they were talking about because I didn't steal anything, and I didn't know that these girls did either. They stole ibuprofen for cramps.
Because they had
And
cramps.
yeah, yeah.
Did they have money?
And so I don't know.
No.
Don't know. Yeah, but I was just walking out with them because I had met up with them, and then once they started telling me that, like, oh, you're banned and we're calling, I just walked out because there's nothing you could do about it. I didn't steal anything, because then if you touch me and I didn't steal anything, like, you're gonna get in so much trouble. But you know what I mean? Like, they would get a lawsuit or whatever.
You're the Boy Scout, though. You didn't do anything.
I know. But then I got banned for life. I've been in there since, but they wouldn't recognize me now. Yeah. If you see this guy.
Yeah, because I'm sure you're one
They
of
look
like
exactly the same.
a bajillion people who've stolen from Safeway.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of. I'll only tell one more story because it's funny. There was this kid that we both knew, and he was annoying. He was really annoying. He was always hanging out, kind of inserting himself in the group, which is fine. He was younger. Thought he was an amazing singer. We used to have a band, and he'd be like, he'd want to be the lead singer, and he'd be throwing himself in the. Actually, got in trouble for stealing. I use the term loosely. A guitar cable from a band jam house that we were allowed to practice at, a practice cabin, and he never returned the cable, and he got kicked out for that, and claimed that it was just he had just forgotten to return it or whatever. Anyways, we were at Safeway, me and this guy, and we got Chinese food from the little Chinese takeout thing, and we sat down and we ate it, which is fine. If you take the container to the front, you pay for it.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't totally dumb, so I kind of like saw or thought I saw employees like, walking past a little too frequently and like looking our way, kind of like when in the movies when they see the FBI agents like stalking them. I was like,
oh yeah,
something feels off. I was like, something feels off right now. And I kind of was like, dude, I feel like they're watching us. And he's like, it's fine. Eat it. And he's like, dude, don't worry about it. Let's just go. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm paying for mine. And he's like, that's fine. And he dumped his in the trash and starts like walking with me. And I'm like, you're going to walk with me to the checkout? He's like, dude, it's fine. And like, we start walking up, and there's already a lady like standing at the end of the checkout aisle. And she's like, right over here. Like, we're getting funneled into like the getting caught. It's entrapment. And so we went over there, and and she had this look on her face, just like very serious, and she's like, and she scans mine, and then she goes, where's the other meal? And I'm like, and I look at the other guy, and
you're like, I don't know this guy.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there like this, and we look at the other guy, and he goes, what? And she's like, where's the other meal? Where's the other entree? Where's the other meal? And he's like, what? I don't know, ma'am. I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, there was two meals. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then pretty soon we turn around, and there's this like, slick backed hair manager there, and he's like, we caught you, and you're not going anywhere. And he's like, and then the kid just starts. Yeah, the kid just started crying. He's like, sir, I didn't do anything. I didn't. And that was his one like saving grace, is that he was like small and could be really pathetic and kind of like worm his way out.
Yeah.
And eventually they let him go after he just was like sobbing and acted like his life was over.
Did they like let you go like immediately?
I didn't do anything, but I had to stay with him anyways, because I'm like, I'm his ride and stuff. And I want to see how this pans out, because it's kind of hilarious. I was like, I didn't do anything. Yeah, that kid was always doing shit like that. But anyways.
That reminds me too, that same guy that stole the snow machine. I remember going to Camp Castle with him one time, and I think we were like buying either licorice or Tootsie Rolls, so 1 cent or 5 cent, whatever.
So innocent.
So pathetic. And he's like, has this bag, and he's putting it in. He's grabbing like 4 and going 1, 2, 3, and
The
I didn't
audacity.
actually realize that until we left. But that was like really pathetic because they're 5 cents or 1 cent, and also like Camp Casual. Those people were awesome. So
It's a small business that you're
yeah,
seeing from.
yeah.
Some of it seems just like boundary testing. Like we talk about that guy who stole the snow machine as well and didn't give a shit. Same person that was stealing extra candy from the little tiny mom and pop store.
Then it goes back to what you said too, like escalating, so you can get away with it.
Yeah, and well, I can get a couple more of these, and we'll see if anybody says anything, and if I can,
Guarantee
I will.
that snow machine wasn't the last thing he stole.
No, and I wonder if looking back, he's gone through an experience or whatever that has made him look back on that and just feel bad.
Yeah, I haven't tried to ever look him up
I have.
recently.
If we're talking about the white kid. Are we talking about the white kid? Yeah, I looked him up recently. He's married. He looks like a deadbeat.
Does he really?
He has a company, but he looks weathered. Like he's like had a tough run of it. He doesn't. And you know what? He used to be the bully, so he was the tough guy. Like in my,
he was,
this is kind of a sidetrack, but this thefty kid back in the day, because he was kind of the bully, he was taller than all of us. In my memory, he's like this imposing kind of a little bit scary figure, because he hit puberty like before the rest of us.
Yeah,
he was like 6 foot, and the rest of us were like 5 foot.
He didn't hesitate to throw a punch either.
No, he didn't. He hurt me quite a few times. But so in my mind, when I imagined him into the future, I imagined him to continue being this imposing kind of like. He was also kind of like cool in a way.
Yeah, well, because he was good on like his bike and his dirt bike, and
good
he
on
had
his
all the
bike,
fun stuff.
dirt bike. Older girls always liked him. I remember my friend's super hot sister that was like 3 or 4 years older than us was like trying to talk to him, and he was only 12 years old or something.
Oh my god, weird.
And I was just like, what? But so anyways, yeah, he was kind of like who you. Minus the bad traits, it was like, man, it would be cool to be that guy. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, except for now, we're like, I'm glad I wasn't like that.
No, and then I look at him now, and I'm like, oh man, like you look like life had hit you pretty hard, and if you put all three of us in a lineup and asked a girl who they'd rather be with, I highly doubt it would be him at this point. So
right.
But anyways, if someone feels bad enough about something, you think they would like. It would weigh heavy enough that they would apologize to you about it.
Yeah, it'd make amends. I know my dad ended up not pressing charges because his mom was our neighbor, and she took care of the damages. Yeah, she was a sweetheart with a douche kid.
Out of control kid.
Yeah, and so, however, I'm like, it probably would have been good to press charges, and maybe he would have got on a better track, or maybe not. I don't know.
Well, he seems to be doing okay. He has a family and stuff. But I just think back to things that I've done that hurt other people or were bad. And I think it's good to make amends for those things, to at least get it off your own chest. And I think if it does bother you, then you do those things. And so the fact that he hasn't said anything makes me think it doesn't bother him.
Oh, yeah. I would be super shocked if I woke up one morning and I had a message and he's like, I'm sorry for such and such and such. And I mean, I just tried to look him up on Facebook real quick. I didn't see anything.
He's got a different last name than he did back then.
Weird. Okay.
Because his last name is his dad's last name now.
Oh, so maybe they reconciled or he found him. Or I don't remember what their story was.
Well, so yeah, anyways, he was a thief, and yeah, so like a lot of people, I think a lot of people justify theft. I don't know that a lot of people are that Haitian code or whatever, where it's like if you can get away with it, do it. I think a lot of people have a story they tell themselves to justify it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Like you didn't need it as bad as I did, or like with your family, even if they did justify it to themselves, like stealing your snow machine, I could see them being like, well, the Bartels have so much shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they won't miss it, that kind of thing. And I saw that with even my friend in college. Okay, here's a good one. they are one of his best friends. One of my friend's best friends that he grew up with started working for their dad. So they hired a family friend to work for their company, and he had a company credit card to get gas for the vehicle when he was driving it for work. Well, they looked at the records like a while later and found out that he was filling not just with the company car, but his own personal daily driver and other people's gas. He was bringing all kinds of people to the pump and giving them free gas and charged up tons of money. And they were still friends. And I'm like, how could you be friends with someone who was like embezzling money from your, like, disrespected your family so hard? And he was like, well, said what I just said. I think he thought, because he didn't come from a good family, he thought that like we just had so much extra that it wasn't like a big deal or whatever. And so they like forgave him for that. I was like, that's pretty big of you. I don't know if I could
seriously
forgive such a it seems like low character to steal from, like really low character to steal from people that you're supposed to care about.
Yeah, and there was times where my parents would go on a trip, and then we would have like some babysitter who was a family friend or whatever, and then it come to find out like she was stealing shit from the house while my parents were gone. And it's just like, it's like I said, family friend too, trusting you with your kids, and here you are stealing shit from the house. It's just crazy.
The world would be such a better place if you didn't have to constantly take preventative measures for people who do things like that. You have to keep, one eye in the back of your head all the time.
Yep. You can't just blindly trust.
No, you have to put up cameras. You have to put up fences. You have to have, car security, insurance, all of these things. You want to extend it out further. Stores have to lock shit in cases. Now we're seeing as theft is becoming more rampant because more people are justifying it the way I just said, which is like, well, it's a $1 billion business. They're not, who gives a fuck? They're the rich people.
It's crazy. Like in Seattle, they lock up
and they've shut down
medicine.
And they've shut down locations of stores because the theft is so high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to go in and grab some ibuprofen, but it's locked up. It's because other people are pieces of shit. Again, it goes back to what I said. Like, it's a huge inconvenience for people.
Yep.
When you start stealing.
And it's like, this is why we can't have nice things. Like, I just literally went to our small town Safeway the other day that I used to steal from. And there's a big electronic case with all the batteries locked in it now.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that here. So it just moved here. I was just at the Safeway here. I'm like, they lock up their batteries?
It's brand new. The case is brand new at ours. It must have gone in over the weekend or something. But I'm just like, really? This is the world we're getting to this point now.
And again, just so inconvenient. Same like the same Safeways, they now lock up all their liquor. Now they're locking up their batteries. They're locking up their
lube and condoms and all that shit.
Yeah, like cold medicine and shit. It's like, it's an inconvenience for me because I have to press the button and I gotta wait.
Yep.
And wait. And then, dude, one time after I was golfing, I wanted to go pick up like a bottle of, it was like gin or something after golf. So I go and I press the damn button and I wait for like 10 minutes. And that's a lot of time waiting when I could be getting the other shit I need to do. And you just sit there and you keep pressing the button because at some point it shuts itself off. So then I was just so mad. I walk up and I'm like, I've been waiting for 10 fucking minutes. This is such bullshit. And they're like, oh, well, we're busy. And I'm like, I'm fucking busy too. I don't know. I was kind of mean because I just
that
pissed
makes
me
sense.
off.
I really the older I get, the more I think my friend's dad was right when he says thieves are the scum of the earth. It's almost like something you learn with age and wisdom. It's just like instinctually you kind of everything goes back to thieves. It seems like thieves are why we have to lock shit up. Thieves are why it takes 10 minutes for someone to come unlock something for you. And it's the same reason why the employees are pissed because they're overworked, because it's like we have to do all this shit.
Too, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're pissed off and you're pissed off, and all of this could be avoided if people would just pay for their shit. We could all get along well, you know.
Yeah. The only time I wouldn't feel bad for stealing something is if I needed it and there's no other way for me to get it. But I needed it as in I needed it, not I wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you couldn't feed your
Give me an
baby, so you're
example,
like
yeah.
stealing baby formula. I wouldn't feel bad.
I mean, yeah, it's never okay to steal, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
The
But
problem
you
is
don't
who
need
makes
a
that.
bottle of vodka. You don't need the ibuprofen, and you don't need the batteries. Well, maybe you need the batteries.
Yeah, the problem is when people can, like you just said, if I needed to feed my kid, I would do it and not feel bad. But the problem is that there's a lot
Or
of
maybe I
people
would
who
feel bad, but
people who justify that, but their need is not as great as your need, or they have not thought about it from the correct standpoint of like, well, did you exhaust all other options before you decided to steal?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, I need this thing because this is the reason why my life is so bad. Like alcoholics would probably say that. Like, I just need a drink and it'll help me get to the next thing that I can do. And like, I just need it. You don't
Yeah.
fucking need it, you know?
No.
So I guess that's why everything always comes back to laws. Laws exist so that, you know, that people don't have to take the law into their own hands or take moral, you know, you don't get to decide that if you need it enough to take it. You're just not allowed to fucking take it, basically,
Yeah.
you know. So
It's very true.
but yeah, I think that so let's think about theft in a way of I like where you were going with that, with almost how you can justify theft. What are some ways that you technically have stolen but don't seem like they're that bad? Can you think of anything like that?
Doesn't seem like. Well, I think it just, like you said, it comes down to how you're going to justify it yourself. So that kid that stole the candy, he's like, yeah, it's 1 cent worth of candy. You know, it doesn't mean anything, and we don't even make pennies anymore. But I can't. I mean, I can't think of a time that I've stolen something and I was justified for it. Like,
No, but any small theft where you don't even think about it as stealing. I mean, I guess for me, right off the bat,
like
it'd be
post-it
like,
notes at the office, like, or a
Sure.
pad of paper you stick in you're like, oh, I need to bring this pad of paper with my notes on it, and then it sits here, and then I go get another one from the office because the other one's still here, and I take that back and I just start collecting notepads.
exactly.
No,
or
yeah.
or back in the day, we used to steal music all the time.
Oh, all the time, and you know what? I
We
would
ruined
never
a fucking
do that
industry.
again. Yeah, I would never do that again.
We've ruined a whole industry. I
But
mean,
what's
there's
funny
that
is
argument
now
right
I
now.
can look up any
Yeah.
song I want on Amazon Music and listen to it because I pay $7 a month. You know,
That's
it's like,
because they had to think of a model
I know.
to make money because we
Yeah.
were just stealing it. They were hemorrhaging money. It's like, well, I'm definitely
So-
not paying $1 for each song because I want like 1,000,000 songs. So
I know,
maybe $1,000,000. I'm just gonna
Oh my
fucking
gosh.
steal it.
As far as music goes, I stole thousands of songs.
Yeah, dude, we all did.
But the
And then-
thing, what was funny is
Go ahead.
you can only get prosecuted if you were the one supplying it.
I know people who received emails from the feds for stealing movies, stealing software, things like
Yeah.
that. I know if you did over a certain amount, you were like flagged. I don't even think they do that anymore. I think it's pretty much like if
It's
you get it,
probably
you
really
get it.
hard to. Well, I don't know. if
And
that's true.
everybody does it. Everybody steals shit online. If you can get it,
Yeah.
you take it.
Well, okay, YouTube completely free. Go look up a song, and now they have MP3 or MP4 to MP3 converters, so you can take a YouTube video and
Exactly.
convert
I
it to
do
MP3.
that all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely. But the funny thing about it is, I
You think
don't
of it like
know.
a victimless crime, but it's not.
I know, and it's because you know what's funny is like a lot of the times that I would do that is because I can't listen to a song on YouTube without shutting my and click my phone off. You know, like the video has to go, and then And of course, it's definitely stealing. And I don't do that very often, but um, yeah, I don't know. That's definitely another way you can steal music.
Yeah, you can steal music and steal movie software. People have argued that they've tried to make the case, which haven't been able to make it yet, that AI is theft of artists. You know, they say that it's referencing other people's artwork, it's technically stealing their styles and things like that.
But that's what's funny about that. Like, if I went and painted something in the style of the Mona Lisa, like, I can't get in trouble for that. It's just a style. But then Pharrell got in trouble for using what sounded like a Marvin Gaye song in one of his songs, and that's bullshit too. That you shouldn't be able to sue somebody for that.
Yeah, it's hard to. So okay, and that also brings in the fact of like litigation, like being able to justify theft or legally justify doing something that you know isn't right. Where in that case, it's the opposite. You think it's justified, and so. But how about instances where they got off the hook for taking something that they really should have paid for? Can you think of those?
No, do you have one?
No, I know they exist, but
Well,
let's
it's
say,
like
yeah, go
if
ahead.
you stole something digitally from somebody in the United States, but you were in a non-extradition country or whatever, like, you can't get in trouble.
You're still
You know?
technically guilty of the crime.
Yeah, you can't come back to America. But
I guess it also in a lot of those cases it comes down to whether you get caught red-handed or not, if there's enough evidence to get you on the hook for theft.
oh, sure. Even though, like, there's times when there's a judge and a jury, there's times that people get away with obvious crimes because there wasn't enough evidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the debate that constantly happens in our country, which is like, is taxation theft?
I mean, that's basically how this country was started, was getting sick of the taxation, and here we are taxing every dollar multiple times.
Yep. But then if you get too carried away with the conversation, they can sick the federal agents on you, and you can go to jail or get shot even. So it's almost like you're not even allowed to talk about it, which makes it even more seem like it's theft because
especially the state I live in.
Yeah.
The amount of taxes that people pay.
They can steal from you, or they can take money from you without really explaining why or what for. But then if you withhold money from them, you have to account for every penny, nickel, and dime.
And they don't tell you right off the bat how much you owe.
Yep. As long as they get their side,
yep,
then it's okay. But if you and then if you miscalculated something, you owe interest for whatever the extra is that you didn't pay. So if you thought you owed $400, if you actually owed $1,000 for 12 months, you get all the interest for the back pay on that. Yeah. Seems like theft. And so, and that kind of brings us into that whole broader argument of stealing from like a Walmart or a department store. When people feel justified to do it, they go, well, whatever. It doesn't even matter to them, and they don't, they're stealing from their employees by having overseas labor that they don't pay the right amount, or they're like cutting corners in this way. It's been proven that these big companies are cutting corners in this way, and so they're actually underpaying way more than what we take from them. So justified. And with the IRS, same deal.
And the government gets away with it easily. Like, so quite a few years back, I think this was before I moved here, there was like a bill introduced to increase taxes to pay for the light rail. I believe this was the instance, and it was voted down. People were like, no, I don't want to pay for that. And then they passed it anyway and said, you guys just didn't understand.
See?
Yeah. You just didn't understand what you were voting for.
They do that all the time. Or they make decisions that don't involve us, and then it comes out of our tax dollars. And it's like, our country doesn't even pay its own debt. Why do I have to pay my debt to the country?
Yeah.
My debt that I didn't really buy or spend, that I have, my debt just by being alive here.
Yeah. And then, if you own something, you own property, you have to pay property tax. It's like, wait, no, I own this.
Yeah.
How can you possibly
and it's
tax
tax
me
on whatever they decide the value of that property is. So you're not even in control of that.
Yeah.
It's
the biggest theft scheme out there.
There's all and the theft is enabled by all of these little technically legal loopholes that they found that keep them from getting legally in trouble because they control the law.
All that fraud that happened in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And then the politicians are like, oh, absolutely not. Leave these people alone. It's like they're taking millions of dollars and not doing any of the work, and they're not even American citizens.
And if you wanna get technical on it, maybe that's what we should all be doing to our government that treats us like shit. Maybe they're just the only ones smart enough to be like, yeah, this is a giant fucking Ponzi scheme, and I'm not going to be the one that the buck stops on. I'm going to get mine, which is what they're doing.
We would all have to do that. For instance, like, I know you're talking about trying to commit fraud, but if I just decided that this year I wasn't going to go pay taxes, well, eventually that's going to add up and they're going to come and collect one way or another. And so when one person does it, it's easy for them to go and collect. But if we all stand up and stop paying our taxes until they just don't remember that they work for us.
And see, this conversation's getting really on the verge of you could end up getting like audited to fuck if this went viral and we became like the spokespeople that were technically telling people don't pay your taxes or whatever. Like if you do that, there's no end to the way that they can make your life a living hell, up to and including coming to your house and fucking shooting you. And it's even just talking about it's a little sketchy. But then if you go a step further,
we're just talking about ideas. But
I was gonna say if you go even a step further and you say we should do what we did back when we were the colonies and try to overthrow the government, then you really get in trouble.
Oh,
and I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm not saying that all of us shouldn't pay taxes and we should potentially take back our country from this tyrannical government. And
the problem
I'm
is
not saying that. But
no, of course not. But they have polarized us so much that you and I can sit here and be like, this is what's crazy is I know people around here that are like, I'm totally fine in paying more taxes. It's like, but I'm not, dickhead. Like, I don't make $500,000 a year and have all this extra money to give the government. Like,
it's theft.
Like, yeah.
You're just saying,
but what I'm
okay
saying
with someone stealing my shit from me.
It. Yeah. And they are because they think it's going to for good reason because we're so opposites and polarized.
It's the same people
how does the homeless look in Seattle right now? You want to pay more in taxes to help them, but we don't do anything for them anyway.
These are the same people who are okay with their businesses being looted and defaced during the George Floyd protests because they feel like they can afford it. They've got this like brainwashed mentality that they're like part of this well, maybe they are privileged, but they think that because they're privileged that they deserve or they should get whatever's coming to them. Like, no, you shouldn't get what's coming to you. The government should get what's coming to them. You're not the government. You're the little dude who's got a little bit of extra money proportional to the government that takes money from us. Your business is absolutely nothing. You're basically, if you looked at the difference between your amount of money and the government's amount of money, you're much closer to us on the poor side of things. And so the fact that you're on the receiving end of all of this is fucked up.
And being okay with just shilling out more. It's so stupid.
Yeah. So, but I think that people get bitter and they justify taking stuff because, and I think some of it stems from selfishness. If you're just taking like an iPod or something like that, and you're like, I deserve this or whatever. It's like, well, that's kind of shitty of you to assume that you deserve that, because there is some consequence, even if you don't see it. There's some negative thing that happens when you take something, even if it doesn't directly affect you. So saying your comfort or whatever of having, this extra thing.
And then you can just go as far as saying, even if that consequence is just your own morality, like being sacrificed.
So what if you can't prove somebody stole something? That's a big problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you know they did, but you can't prove it.
Yeah, if you know they did and you can't prove that they stole something.
What's crazy is when people do that, you have to go replace it. So it's like you got shit stolen from you twice.
Well, okay, so here's a problem I had with... I kind of admired my friend because he was right. And I think I've been in this situation myself, though I can't recall the specific situation, where you're pretty... Oh, actually, I can. It was when you had the issue with the dude that went and talked shit on your company's and your wife's company's Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't 100% sure that he was the one who did it.
Oh, yeah.
But I was fairly sure. So I could threaten to a point consequences for him doing that if he didn't take it down. But I couldn't over threaten because in my mind, if I'm wrong, I can't go like completely overboard with the consequences.
Yeah.
So that thinking with my buddy back when the guy stole $20 from his bag and he knew it, and he said, "I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you if the $20 isn't back in my bag when I come back in the locker room." That is, I don't know if that's okay because you can't prove that he actually took it. What happens if you beat the fuck out of him and he didn't do it?
Yeah, you have to be 100% sure. But in the case where you went and defended, my company and my wife's company, you it worked. Hey, that's on a prior episode. Go back and find that. It almost shut down our podcast because we thought it was something else related. But you were certain enough in that his consequences, we already knew he was kind of a piece of shit. So the consequences for him were that his company was going to be put on blast if he didn't go and rectify this.
And I wasn't even sure I was actually going to do that. So it was a little bit of an empty threat, but he didn't know if I was bluffing or not. So, it worked as leverage in that situation.
I mean, it just made so much sense. So,
yeah, I'm never actually cool with. I think personally, an eye for an eye. I'm not hot on it especially because sometimes you're not sure, and I also think that when something bad happens to you, it can cloud your own judgment. If it happens to you, you're not the person who needs to be doling out the punishment per se.
I agree with that, but we've already had that discussion that I still like.
Yeah, well, you might be overreacting. You don't know in that moment what is appropriate recourse for what happened.
Well, like,
you know what I mean?
Well, there's certain cultures out there that, if you steal, you get your hand cut off,
Well, let me put it this way, too. I don't actually often feel better if I'm the one who enacts the punishment. It doesn't make me feel better to hurt someone,
Yeah. Well,
I've done it before.
I agree with that, but that doesn't mean that eye for an eye can't exist.
No, it doesn't mean it can't exist. In a certain sense, I think that justice is what it is. So, like, balancing themselves, although I don't like it, doesn't always mean that it's not like the law of nature. Like if you, in the animal kingdom, if you don't like protect your little bird's nest, some bigger hawk is going to swoop in and eat your your little babies. And like, so that, I mean, that, I don't like that, but that's the law of nature. Just like if
Right.
somebody does some bullshit and is a known theft, even though not everyone can prove that they're a thief, they just always happen to be in the place where stuff is getting stolen. So it's kind of going around, and people in the town have a pretty good idea of who's doing it. And if those people decide to get together and like tar and feather and beat the fuck out of this person, though I don't agree with doing that, I also have to admit that, like, well, that is kind of the law of nature. Like, if you are always in the place where this is happening, then when you get your ass beat, you don't really get to complain about it, you know?
And that's the problem with people that steal, when they don't suffer the consequences ever. They just keep getting away with it. So why wouldn't they keep doing it? Just like that Haitian law, right? So that's,
And that
I
goes
don't want to
back
say that. I
to,
don't want to insult any Haitians. I don't know if that's a real thing.
dude,
Just
I don't
what
even
you
know
said.
either. I think that's what that guy said. I can't remember. That goes back to something that someone really close to me has said, that they really believe in karma, and it upsets them when they see people getting away with things that they think they're never going to see any repercussions for what they do, and it just drives this person that's close to me mad.
Well, if they believe in
that,
karma, then that's not true.
well, they believe that karma should exist, but sometimes
But
it
it
doesn't
should
seem
exist,
like
yeah.
karma gets the people that it's supposed to get. And you want
Yeah.
to be karma. You want to go out and you want to, you know, cause it to happen yourself. Like, what if you know something about this person and that person is doing something really bad, and you could just kind of like move the needle yourself by like saying, well, you know, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden floodgates open, you know? So,
It's like when you get a speeding ticket one time, and then for whatever reason, there's 1,000 people going 90 miles an hour past you, and you're like, where's the cop to get them? I was going
Yeah.
8 miles an hour over the speed limit.
yeah, the guy who always gets away with it. Yeah, it's a fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious. But I think we
And that's
can't
how you
become,
never change.
yeah, we can't become the person who just wants revenge. You know, that's a bad place to be.
Well, when shit got stolen out of my cars in the same day, I was like, I want to be a vigilante.
See,
Like,
that's what it makes you think stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, this is probably a common area for these people. So if I just go wait out in the woods and then beat the shit out of them with some of my sticks that I beat you and Micah up with, like, like I would feel better about it. And I would hope that they would be like, man, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It makes you want to take things into your own hands. Or like if someone's stealing, well, think about this. If someone is stealing things and they have a business, right? And their business, they're constantly stealing, so they're getting a bunch of extra shit all the time, and their life, you just see their life getting better and better and better, and you're working super hard at your 9 to 5 normal person job, and you bust your ass, and it's unfair, and you're getting treated bad day in and day out, but you're working an honest job, but you're not getting anywhere, and you just see these people who are exploiting and taking advantage, and they're just going up and up and up and up and up. At a certain point, a lot of people, I think, are going to be like,
Maybe
I should
start
do
doing
that.
Yeah.
yeah, what keeps us honest, you know? And it reminds me of our own president to a degree.
Yeah, and give me an example.
Well, when he first got elected the very first time, I think it was pretty common to have the opinion that he was a liar and a thief, and he took advantage. This was what people said. I don't know what's true because I don't know the man personally, but they said he was a liar, a thief. He would do whatever he needed to. He would exploit whoever he needed to get ahead, and he just said what he needed to say to get where he needed to go. So, and that's pretty true for most politicians, but they said that about him, that he'll just tell you what he needs to tell you to get what he needs. Like all of his failed businesses and stuff that he lied about to, you know.
Sure. To
Get
save
ahead.
face almost.
But then what did that man do after he was running for the second time? And it looked like he was going to win to most of the people who supported him. But then he didn't win. What did he do? He turned around and he said
It was
they
stolen.
stole it.
He said that today, by the way, not that election, but a Virginia election that happened today. He's claiming
Constantly
is
says that.
fraud. Yeah, but I mean, the problem is there's evidence that supports that stuff, and so it puts some sort of doubt in our mind that it was an honest election. So same thing that happened in Virginia last night. One party was absolutely dominating, and then here comes a mail-in ballots, and then all of a sudden the other party won.
Okay. Great point. This is a great example that we can use. So we see what's more than likely, whatever, theft. A lot of our viewers might disagree that the election was stolen from
sure.
Donald Trump.
We
That's
don't know.
totally fine.
So, yeah.
Nobody knows. Yeah. But to him, I think sincerely that he believes it was stolen.
Yeah.
Now, what do good people do when things are stolen from them? What do good people do? What would you do if something was stolen from you?
If something's stolen from me, first I report it,
Yeah.
and I mean, and then there's nothing else I
And
can
then
really
what can you do, right? What can you
Yeah,
do?
there's nothing you can
Nothing.
really do. Yeah.
What would a bad person do if they knew things were getting stolen from them? What would a bad person do to make sure that they came out on top, right?
What, steal it back?
Right? And so how do we know?
But maybe in a smarter way.
Right, how do we know
Because the first time was really dumb.
that this person has the moral character
Oh, I don't
to
think that's...
sit on his hands when he knows something is being stolen from him?
Yeah, so you try to secure it in a way to make sure it doesn't happen, whether that's...
You think he goes
a
the
good
honest
way or-
route?
Do I think he would go the honest route? No. I think he probably, potentially, you try to fight bad with bad.
Exactly. And that's the problem with revenge. And I think that's kind of where this whole thing was going from the beginning, is like when something's taken from you that you feel entitled to, that you should have it and you did have it or whatever, and you're doing things the right way and things are, but you're surrounded by people who are doing things the wrong way and they're coming out ahead of you, or they've taken something from you or whatever. I think it empowers you because you can justify it to yourself to say, well, if I don't do it, they're going to do it, so I better do it.
Yeah. But, no,
How
I
would he
agree.
how would he have stolen it if he did steal it?
I think you just probably do the same tactic, just smarter, and not have a million votes come in and win in an hour or something. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
you
if it's
think
just-
he would do the fake ballots? That would be what he would do?
Probably. I don't know what else you would really do. Bribe somebody to put in fake numbers. I don't know. And he's got all the money in the world.
You think he could enlist the help of other people? Do you think anybody could come to him or would come to him and tell him, hey, we know a surefire way to help you get elected if you follow us and you do what we say? Do you think that's possible?
I think it's all possible.
Do you think it's probable?
No, I don't think it was probable, because I think no matter what, he was going to win that third time he ran because of how shitty of a job our country, or how shitty our country was for 4 years.
But they already stole it, so they would just steal it again.
Yeah, but if you bring maybe he brought so much attention to it the second time that they're like, shit, we can't get away with that again.
I don't know, man.
But I don't know.
They do
I
things
think
they do things so obvious and out in the open when
They really do.
things are stolen or lies are made or things like that. There's not really much of an attempt to hide, I don't think.
No, it's
So
true,
I
'cause
don't-
there's nothing we can do about it.
Right. So I don't really buy the story that you just trust that there's enough people watching.
I think it doesn't even matter what we do as far as citizens go in this country. I think it's all probably just a ruse, and they do whatever the hell they want, and they're all buddies behind closed doors and sit and laugh at us.
And so people who think like that, do you think those are like bad people? Like do you think that that's like evil behavior to like do
Yes,
stuff like
I
that.
definitely think that's evil behavior.
It's evil, right? It's like not
Yeah.
normal thinking.
Yeah, okay, but say somebody really wronged you, and like, say they stole you and your wife's laptop and your phones, and you knew it. And so the only thing you could do was go over and beat the shit out of them and get your shit back. You're gonna feel pretty damn good once you do.
Or like you're a girl in high school and some other girl steals your boyfriend or does something to you. Uh, what's to keep you from turning around and spreading rumors that that girl did some
Yeah,
crazy shit
I
that
just
she
don't.
didn't even actually do?
Well, I think the problem is eventually someday you're gonna regret that you did that, and to
Unless you're a
where
sociopath, right?
yeah, to where if like in my case, I'm saying someone stole a shit from you, and so you gave him your own sort of justice, and I don't think I'd ever regret that, as long as I didn't kill anybody. But if I just
Okay, let's think about this. Okay, so the election was The election was stolen. Let's take Trump's point of view. The election was stolen from Trump. He had a plan that was going to be better for the American people. He cares about the country. He wants to help. And he has it in the bag, he thinks, but then it's stolen, and he knows it's stolen. And he's known that the whole system's rigged and corrupt from the beginning. And so for him, he's got to get back into office. And he's also been, say, observing all kinds of things while he's been in power. He's been a powerful man forever. He knows how these people think, and he knows that there's no ends to what they'll go through to get what they want, because they're really bad. So what might he do to get back into office? You know, take
to make
a loss.
sure he can incorporate his plan.
Yeah, do something bad but then on the end go back into office and try to do really good, and so he can justify it to himself that way. Like, I commit a crime here, but then I get back in, and now that I'm the boss, I can make everything better. So it's kind of like you can justify to himself that he's doing it.
Yeah, I guess if I don't know, I don't think it's right, but I know I'd rather that have been the case than have had Kamala Harris.
What if people died?
Oof, touching some scary things. I absolutely not.
You're not okay with that?
No.
What if he felt like his hands were tied in a way? What if he made a deal and then they said, you got to do what we want you to do, but you'll get back into office, and then you can do some good there? What do you think about that?
His morality will suffer, but I would still say it's wrong.
Didn't he say, I remember somebody asked him, do you think you go into heaven or hell? And he said, I don't think I'm going to heaven.
Yeah, he did say
but
that.
But I'm trying, and then he said, I'm trying to do a lot of good for people. Didn't he say that?
Yeah.
It's almost like someone who had to do something bad, but was trying to justify it to himself, like, I'm trying to do the best I can, given.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, and that's why he's going to suffer for it, and maybe we're all better for it. I don't know. I mean,
go ahead, sorry.
No, that was thought done.
So before we go to the wheel, let's talk about Butler. Butler, Pennsylvania.
As in, do we think he actually got shot?
Where our president was shot in the ear, and someone died, and 2 people were critically injured that survived. What the fuck? What if that?
I mean, that's theory's been out there.
What we think it is.
Yeah, and that's why they killed that kid, immediately.
The theory's been out there, but the way I am proposing the theory, I think makes a little more sense, or I feel like it kind of locks in a little bit. So he thought the election was stolen, or it was stolen. Say it was stolen from him before, and then he is pissed because he knows, and he's like, this is corrupt, there's all fucking bullshit, whatever. He aligns with this group of powerful donors and whatever, and they say, look, it's all fucking crazy, right? Like, you know, if they want it, they'll take it. But partner with us, and we will help you get back in. There's going to be some crazy shit, but you're going to be our dude, okay? And then when you're there, you can do good stuff too, but you're going to be our dude, okay? And you just got to roll with it and do what we say.
I think it's completely possible.
He's like, all right, whatever. And then they're like, all right, at this speech, you're going to take a dive and you're going to come back up with a cut. You know, you're going to have the cut on your ear and all that. You're going to take a dive and then, you know.
The funny thing about... No, I mean, I think this is a real, actual possibility, but
they
I
didn't
think
actually
that there
shoot
would have
at
been...
him. Go ahead.
But don't you think there would have been footage from behind him? Actually, we've never seen any footage from behind. Nobody was recording that?
And so here's the other thing. Because a lot of this theory rests on people saying, you think he would take a... You know, you think he'd let them shoot that close? Imagine the bullets didn't even really come close to him. They just fired 3 bullets into the audience or whatever.
And
they fired however
somebody,
many bullets into the audience, killed a person, whatever, and it didn't even come close to him. And then he just had to do the fake ear thing. And then he comes up and he's like, you know, he's got to do his little thing. They lower the flag over his head.
Well, what if they told him that, I promise nobody's going to die, so you can do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Too.
Or whatever. Or, you know, at this point, it's kind of like he doesn't really have too much of a choice in the matter. He's just got to participate. But he's justifying it to himself in a way because he's like, well, there's nobody better than me who can be president right now because they're all so corrupt and terrible. I am the best guy for the job. I have to just go along with this.
I think they wouldn't have told him that they were going to kill somebody. And I think that's why he came back and he seemed kind of weird for like he was changed.
He was weird,
bit.
right? He was weird after that.
So
well,
maybe,
you'd be weird
maybe
after
it was
just
all conspiracy, but then somebody died and he was like, I can't fucking believe that happened.
But he fell in. He kind of fell. It seems like he fell in line after that a little bit. It seemed like he stopped
Certainly
being
with some certain.
He stopped being the old Trump and he started being this different Trump. It's almost like something happened. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
But
what do you think? If you're here, let us know in the comments. Oh, that's a dangerous thing.
Well, so yeah, I mean, really, maybe my friend's dad's right. Maybe thieves and theft are the worst. Maybe thieves are the worst people.
Seems to go down
a
pretty nasty trail.
Well, it's because, once something is stolen and then you have rights to reclaim which has been stolen from you, and it was stolen from you in a sick manner, if you use proportional, means to get it back, then basically you're willing to kill whatever to reclaim the thing which was taken from you. And I think there's something instinctual about people when something's stolen from them. There's like this irrational, like, I don't give a fuck. I want it back. It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's a huge, like you feel violated essentially.
You feel violated.
Went into your personal, and then that's like I said, like I was like, I want to be a vigilante right now because I feel like nothing's being done about this.
Yeah, dude, I've been there too. That's why I don't want to be the guy to do the punishment, because I've wanted that which was taken from me plus more. That's how I feel after something's happened.
Yeah.
I want like your head caved in.
Yeah, because even if you get your stuff back, you didn't change. That person didn't suffer anything.
Exactly, and
that's why you want more.
You want to beat them on the ground until they like learn to be different.
Yep, 100%.
What a funny episode it's been. This has been a funny one.
It's time to go to the wheel.
All right, folks, let's spin the wheel of whatever. Spin the free wheel. Let's put our small-talk skill to the test. It's the whatever wheel. Whatever we'll talk about next.
Hit it. Sympathy.
No sympathy for thieves.
Done. Next.
And defense.
Sympathy and defense. All right.
That's pretty tough.
Interesting. Yeah, not sure about
tie in
that.
these.
Sympathy. Okay,
guess
I know
we
how to.
Yeah, do
I
it.
know how. Your fucking microphone sounds like a windstorm
Sorry,
right now.
Sorry, that's my fault.
We'll just cut that part out. Yeah. Okay. So sympathy and defense. Like, I think a problem, this point that we have an issue with here in our country, or maybe it's just a human problem, is that our sympathy gets us into trouble when you're too sympathetic towards, or maybe you are just sympathetic because people deserve sympathy. Like something bad happens to a group, so you want to make sure they're taken care of, whatever. But then we look at that group of people, and then we're like, well, they need to take care of themselves. You get defensive. You see what I'm saying?
Or you have so much sympathy for these people that you just start defending everything they do.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's what happens a lot in this country. We
That's
see
a great
lot
point.
a lot of people doing bad shit, and they're like, yeah, but it's because of this, and it's
Why didn't I even think about that?
I thought that's where you were going.
Oh, that's a
thought
great
that's where you
point.
were
Mine's so
going.
stupid compared to that. They didn't even describe it well. I'm like, in the temperature, It's like, it just sounded like some retard in high school.
Like when the BLM stuff in Seattle, people were rioting and looting and then getting defended for it because there's like, well, you have to have sympathy for these people because they've gone through such a hardship in their life. And it's like, so let me defend them ruining other people's storefronts and shit we paid for with our stolen tax money.
And on the other end, I'm trying to think of one for conservatives where we've been sympathetic towards conservatives and got defensive about them.
People
Can't really off the bat because it doesn't happen as much.
I can think of one that a
one?
liberal would say, which is Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, the right seems to go too far defending schmuck bags because they're like defensive.
Was defending his life too, so it's a little bit different.
He was.
But
he's not the
shouldn't have
best
been out there,
example.
too. Oh,
but there's
another
people.
One. Okay, so
Yeah.
not for conservatives, but like let's defend. What's the Subaru girl or the ice girl
The
that
Subaru
died?
girl.
Was she driving the Subaru? Maybe not. No. I can't remember her name. That looks pretty.
I don't even know her
Good.
name.
Renee Good. Yeah.
Wow,
Renee
good for you for even giving
Yeah.
a shit about that name.
Yeah, when people started defending her, when she was the one that incited all that violence.
We're getting too polarized. It's getting
All right,
too
you're right.
polarized. You're ragging on the left. Who
No,
else?
you're right.
Well, people with Trump, man. People with Trump.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if
They
it's
defend him to
sympathy,
the
but
T.
people defend him to no fucking end, and it's like, dude's obnoxious. Okay, like let's just put that out there. Like, dude is fucking obnoxious.
Yeah,
like
we all
I
wish
think
they'd
you
be a
and
little bit more presidential.
we talked about that back when he said, "I hate Taylor Swift." It was like, okay, feel better.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said?
Like,
I hate Taylor Swift. It was like, why?
something
Why
like
did
that.
you say
Yeah.
that? It's so
'Cause
unnecessary.
She didn't like him. It's like he plays these childish games. So
Yeah, he's
I
the
don't
girl.
have any sympathy for shit like that.
It just goes to show that he's vindictive. This is just adding to my case that I was making earlier, that when somebody wrongs him, there's no end to how far he'll swing. Trump has
Agreed,
sympathy
yeah.
for himself, and he will be defensive to the point of being offensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
it gets exhausting because
Yes.
it's like, hey, I just want you to do what you said you'd do when I voted for you, and then if you can just shut up while you do that, like, we'd all be in a better place.
Yeah, but
I'd
do
have
we
more
trust
sympathy
this
for
guy?
you when people shit on you.
Yeah, do
I
we
don't trust any of
trust
them.
Do we trust this guy when he's displayed that high school girl mentality of, well, you fucked my boyfriend, so I'm going to tell everyone you're fucking bulimic and have AIDS.
Well,
Like, he
it
would
used
do
to be
that.
funny.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
It's funny
for
until-
a while it was funny, but now it's exhausting. It's like,
Until
oh
he
my
makes
God,
a Faustian bargain and then people die in Butler because he's fucking bitter and can't live with it.
Yeah.
whatever. I'm just like, I'm conspiring. But yeah, sympathy and defense, yes. Go on.
Well, I don't know. Somebody could be sympathetic enough for me when shit gets stolen that they go to lengths to defend me. You did that. No,
Oh, yeah, I did,
but
didn't
nothing
I?
was physically stolen from me, but like dignity kind of, when people go and they'd say these big lies on reviews of our companies, and then you came to my defense and you fixed it.
Willing to be offensive to make sure that my friend's honor is intact.
It worked, though.
Yeah.
That guy's still out there saying wild shit.
Causing problems. He's still doing the thing that he did.
Yeah, on a burner account.
Yeah. So
No sympathy for him if something happens to his freaking company because he does shit like that.
So I guess the point I was trying to make, I don't know if you can think of an example, the one I didn't explain very well, was, well, you know what I'm trying to say, right? It's, I guess, sympathy. What's the difference between sympathy and empathy? Sympathy
is something you have felt. You've been in those shoes.
Right. Empathy is you feeling the same feeling that someone feels, and sympathy is you knowing, you feeling bad for what they're dealing with.
Because you've been in those shoes. And sympathy,
No,
I feel
sympathy.
bad that
Yeah.
you're going for that. Like, you're going through this.
Correct,
So, like,
correct.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get politicized, so. It definitely happens a lot in our political world more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
But also
yeah.
maybe relationships too. Like when people are going through breakups, you're gonna have some sympathy for them, and then when there's sides that are clashing, like your friend's got to come to your aid to defend you as they're being sympathetic to what you're going through.
What about defending? Because I feel like what I was trying to call attention to is there's a tension between being sympathetic and defending yourself. There's like a tension at play. There's like, you want to be sympathetic and help, but then you have to defend and preserve yourself against, too much sympathy can hurt you. You have to play defense. I guess a good example is my own mother is so sympathetic and such a bleeding heart when in a good way, I think, but also in a bad way, because she'll put herself on the street to, like, out of house and home, paying for other people's shit to take care of people because she feels so bad for them. And
Sure.
like you said, people with their tax money being like, well, I don't mind paying extra in taxes. I'm sympathetic to their plight, and I have extra. Yeah, and it's like, so then other people have to come in and be defensive and be like, yo, if you don't protect your bottom line, I'm going to fucking step in and protect all of our bottom lines. Like, I'm not going to let you do this.
Right.
I know you're trying to be nice, but you're going to sink the whole fucking ship, and I'm not going to let you. And I'm willing to go out and, like, get pretty crazy to make sure you don't do that. It makes people angry, People
I thought
get
where
angry.
you were going was if you have too much sympathy, that somebody might take advantage of you, and you got to defend yourself against that, like this internal defense.
That's the same, because if the other people didn't step in and defend you, you would have to get to the point where you would have to defend yourself, because it's like you would realize the errors of your ways, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, my sympathy has got me into this terrible situation, and now this person, I have a dependent who I felt bad for, and now they're a dependent, and I can't take care of them or myself at this point. I can't even fix myself now because I'm taking care of all these people I feel bad for. Where's the line? Well, in a way, sometimes it's not mooches. Sometimes we can't all be Mother Teresa. People, there is a lot of suffering in the world, but I can't go fix all of it. Even if I know it's the right thing to do, I want to go out and help everybody. But if I do, I won't have shit, and I'll be right there with them.
Right.
So where's that line between sympathy and defending your bottom line? That's the toughest call, I think. Politically, I think that's the toughest call that I struggle with all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's like, I care about these things, but you are taking advantage of it so so much that now I'm like, I gotta get rid of my sympathy. Like, yeah, I gotta go the other way and be like, I sympathize, but I just can't support this.
Yeah, or even if they're not taking advantage. I mean, look, like, is it taking advantage to say, well, that's like we see our country becoming more isolationist. We don't need to solve the world's problems is something you hear all the time. But then when we don't, all this shit happens. And it's like we feel somewhat responsible if we have the means to step in and help, and we don't. And it's like, so even if someone genuinely has an issue, look, like, what if there was like tons of people outside my house right now that really genuinely needed shelter, and I can't fix that for them? Is that
Right.
wrong? Is that wrong for me to say no?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you can't, I mean, if you have something to give, maybe, you know, it's the Christian thing to do, but you can't do it at the sacrifice of your own resources or your family. Like, if you have excess to give, then sure, be sympathetic and help them out, but you can't give too much, because then people start taking advantage of you.
Yeah, or even if they don't take advantage, you just run out, basically.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
But
think
that's
yeah.
like because they kind of took advantage, or you're just too dumb to stop.
Well, a lot of times people that are in bad situations, they're like drowning people. And so they're not really in their right mind to be making rational decisions because they're floundering and failing. And so when you say they're being selfish, a lot of it's, or they're being like taking advantage, they're just trying to keep their head above water. And
Sure.
people that are trying to keep their head above water, they're not like, oh, I'm going to maliciously steal everything from you. But they're like,
Right.
they'll take it if you can give it. Like, yeah, I'll take it. I fucking need it. Yeah. You know, so I don't think of it as more. But
That's
what
a good
happens is when you overextend yourself, then you turn around and you end up being pissed
Yeah.
at those same people. And you're like,
Yeah, even though it was kind of your
fucker.
fault for never saying no. But as soon as you say no, too, they might just say, not everybody. They'll be like, fuck you. And then then your sympathy was useless.
Oh,
Not useless. I guess maybe you got them to the next day, but
yeah. Tricky stuff, man. That is the most depressing thought cycle that I have. Like, is that thought cycle of, I want to care, but every time I do care, it doesn't help them and it doesn't help me, and then somehow we end up becoming enemies, and I just never really see much of a benefit from when I do those kinds of things. And it's also like, life is so hard right now. Now I want sympathy. That's what I'm doing right now. Life is so hard. It's hard for me to have the time or energy or whatever to like care about other people. And that makes me fucking sad. You know?
to an extent, I think you've got priorities of who you care about, and that's what you got to take care of.
But
And
that's-
also,
what
like,
if I want
you got to
to
take
help
care
other
of
people?
yourself.
We
Well,
don't
then
have
you get-
enough extra
You got to make sure
be...
you're. Yeah.
We don't live, unfortunately, it feels like we're supposed to live in a country where there is like prosperity and abundance, but we don't like really live in a country that's geared towards like the common man, just like, you know, I have an extra day off work, I'm gonna go out and feed homeless people or whatever. Like,
Sure.
we don't have that because everyone's fucking up to their eyeballs in obligations and work responsibilities. Like, dude, it
Yeah,
sucks.
you're absolutely right.
Like, this one, my wife is from another country, and like, she had no idea when she came here what it was going to be like. She thought it was prosperity and abundance here, and then she's like, you have a lot of homeless people, like more than like what we see in our cities. And then it's like, but then you do get paid more, but then like the amount you have to work for it, and then how much you have to spend on other stuff, you don't ever have like the time off that you have in where she's from. Like, there you have time to go walk around and enjoy yourself, and here it's like work, goals, priorities. Like, when are we going to take our vacation? Until then, we're going to put our heads down and work our fucking asses off. And it's like, this fucking sucks, dude. No
Yeah,
wonder
that's
there's so
true.
many homeless people that are just like, fuck it, I'm out, I'm done. You know?
Government will take care of me.
dude, they put you in that situation though, where it's like, what do you want to do? You want to fucking bust your fucking ass all day and be like, I don't know, like, or do you just want to be like, fuck it, mommy, feed me, you know, like I'll get the assistance. I'll take the assistance instead. Then at least I don't have to worry.
Supposed to work until we're able to retire, but they're also making that harder and harder too.
Well, in Egypt back when they, I think in Egypt back when they were building the pyramids and shit, they would work those dudes until they died, and then they'd just kick their asses into the fucking building blocks and like keep going and stuff. And that's kind of how it feels here.
We know the aliens built the pyramids.
Yeah, no, that's how it feels here. It feels like you work and work and work until, but then you see those people who are like the top earners and their lives are portrayed in such a way where it's like, oh, look at how much time they have and how often they get to go do fun stuff and do all this crazy cool stuff, and like you could have that, you know?
Yeah.
If you just put your head down and work harder.
No, we've also talked about that too, how like some of the shittiest people don't work hard, but they get promoted up into these positions. Yeah. And that's frustrating.
It's all a fucking illusion. And I mean, and then you have this like culture of dudes who I think we to an extent are like that, just, you know, they'll pull up your bootstraps and work hard because you can get ahead, and we don't really see any other way to do things. And like we kind of have that attitude to a degree.
Oh, yeah,
and
for sure.
I know that's like, I really don't see much of an alternative outside of that, but I don't know, like we're also just like perpetuating the idea that you just have to work, and then there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, no, the light at the end of the tunnel is when you fucking die and you get relief from this shit. That's it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this too. It's like, maybe, you know, if I could just win the lottery.
Oh, dude, I know. Dude, my wife talks about that all the time because it's like that's the only, like, you have to believe in some crazy magical thing in order to get through your day, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
it's very true.
You sound like you gotta
Sad.
go.
I do.
I knew it because you just like buttoned up my fucking conversation. Yep. Like, all right, I guess I'm done.
Point.
I know it wasn't your point, but I could sense it.
The dog's going.
Yep. I'm not going to make any further comment on that because I have to go. All right.
Oh, man.
Good episode.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Totally agree.
To any viewers who followed us on that long, somewhat focused journey, and we'll be back.
Way more focused than usual.
Fucking laser focused. All right. All right, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.